England is currently sinking $136 billion into HS2, a high-speed railway designed to solve a desperate capacity crisis on the country's aging rail network. But the project has just been gutted, with the government officially cancelling the extensions to Leeds and Manchester, the very links promised to level up the north and justify the astronomical cost. Now the UK is left with the world's most expensive train to nowhere, and a national scandal that's only just beginning. HS2 wasn't always a story of failure. When it was first announced in 2009, it was hailed as a once-in-a-generation project, a Y-shaped network that would finally bring the north and south together. The plan was ambitious, high-speed tracks carving through the countryside to reach the industrial hearts of Leeds and Manchester. For years, billions were poured into the blueprints, and entire communities were uprooted to make way for the future. The promise was clear: cut travel times between Britain's two biggest cities to under an hour, provide zero-carbon journeys, and boost the economy by $23 billion in the next decade. This wasn't just about speed, it was about capacity, freeing up existing lines for more local and freight services, and creating around 30,000 jobs. But as the years ticked by and the budget began to spiral out of control, that grand vision started to crumble, leading to a series of shocking cancellations that changed everything. But the real disaster isn't just the missing tracks on the map, it's the catastrophic ripple effect these cancellations have triggered across the entire country, and the problems go much deeper than just a few cancelled trains. When the northern legs were axed, places like Cheshire and Warrington didn't just lose a train line, they lost an economic lifeline. Local leaders warned the Prime Minister that stopping the tracks at Birmingham would effectively wipe out $2.7 billion in annual regional benefits and vaporize 27,000 potential jobs. You see, HS2 wasn't just about speed, it was the backbone of a decades-long plan to unlock land, build homes, and attract massive private investment. In Warrington, a 112-hectare site, the second largest project of its kind outside London, was set to fulfill a third of the borough's housing needs for the next 30 years. Now, that land sits in limbo, but perhaps the clearest casualty is Crewe. One of the most deprived wards in the country, the town was promised a once-in-a-generation chance to change its trajectory. Projections showed HS2 would create 5,000 new jobs and transform the local economy. Today, those apprenticeships and development opportunities have vanished, leaving a community that had already started repositioning for a high-speed future, stuck in the past. The fallout from these cancellations is only half the story. Because while towns across the north are left picking up the pieces, the part of HS2 that is still being built has spiraled into something even more shocking. Simply put, the project is in meltdown. What was once sold as Britain's most ambitious project is now becoming a case study in political chaos, mismanaged and staggering incompetence. Construction has fallen badly out of sequence. Major engineering works are running years behind schedule, and entire sections of the railway have had to be paused while other unfinished parts desperately try to catch up. What was supposed to be a carefully coordinated national program now resembles a patchwork of delays, redesigns, and damage control. The clearest sign of the crisis is the appointment of Mark Wilde, the CEO of HS2. He's been forced to launch a complete reset of the entire program, not an expansion or an acceleration, but a total reset. Officials are now attempting to rebuild the schedule from the opening date backwards. It's an extraordinary move that suggests the timelines underpinning HS2 were fundamentally broken from the start. After years of planning and billions spent, Britain is only now trying to figure out a realistic construction sequence. That raises an even bigger question. If the project is only being properly organized now, what exactly has been happening since 2009, and where has all that money actually gone? The HS2 program has become a catastrophic fiscal failure. To date, $55 billion of public funds have been sunk into the project, with the government already committing another $34 billion to keep works running through 2030. Even with that additional bankroll, the line will remain unfinished for years, and the final bill is almost certain to climb far higher. Roughly $38 billion of that money has been swallowed by the civil engineering element. These are the tunnels, viaducts, and earthworks, the visible headline structures that were supposed to justify the scheme. Instead, they now stand as monuments to waste, a scale of spending wildly disproportionate to the value delivered so far. A further $5 billion has been lavished on land, property, and compensation, compulsory purchases, property acquisitions, and blight payments to owners forced to sell or left unable to sell at market value. A compensation scheme remains open for those who can prove a compelling reason to sell but have been blocked or driven to accept steep discounts by the route announcement. New stations and their development have consumed $4 billion, while another $5 billion has gone into design, systems, program management, and early contractor mobilization. These sums have produced little in the way of usable transport capacity. Instead, they've funded a sprawling bureaucracy, expensive consultants, and a tangle of contracts now being renegotiated or simply written off. These figures aren't frozen in time. With inflation and scope creep, they only move in one direction. That leaves the project with a stark choice: tighten its grip or lose control entirely. And that's exactly where the reset is supposed to prove its worth. But here's the part of the reset you weren't told about. The HS2 reset is the biggest challenge the project has faced since construction began. Mark Wilde and his team have inherited a railway plagued by missed deadlines, spiraling costs, and years of unrealistic planning. Now, the task is simple: rebuild confidence that has been lost in the people. A specialist task force assembled in spring 2025 is rewriting the program from the ground up. This involved producing new cost and schedule estimates that will take HS2 through to opening, while reshaping the organization itself to ensure it can finally deliver what it promises. The message from government is clear: this is the last chance to get it right. The reset has exposed the true scale of the problem. It was not fully understood how much work remained, how far behind parts of the program had fallen, or the level of risk buried within previous plans until this reset. Optimism has now been replaced with realism. The new baseline must be credible, deliverable, and achievable, and not another set of dates and figures destined to slip. The immediate priority is to restore order to construction. Civil engineering works must be completed in the right sequence so railway systems installation can begin properly, avoiding the mistakes that have damaged other major infrastructure programs. Between London and Birmingham, the focus is now on finishing tunnels, viaducts, and earthworks to finally create a stable platform for the railway itself to emerge. The reset is not about ambition anymore, it's about survival, discipline, and delivery. If successful, it could rescue the credibility of Britain's largest infrastructure project. If it fails, there may never be another opportunity to recover it. This video has explored the story of one of the most controversial and chaotic infrastructure projects in modern British history. Despite everything, we still want to see the railway finished. Although at this rate, we might hit 100,000 subscribers before HS2 reaches the finish line. So subscribe to the channel and join us as we begin the race to 100,000 subscribers and see whether we get there before Britain's biggest railway project finally does.